Hello and welcome. I'm Raghav and today we will learn more about TestCafe actions. In the last session we looked at the click action, type text, double click, right click. We also looked at hover actions, drag and drop, scroll to element, how to handle alert or pop-up boxes, how to add wait times and how to take a screenshot in TestCafe. And today we are going to see how to select from a drop down, how to upload a file, how do we resize the browser window, how do we scroll on the page, how do we add assertions, and then how do we navigate to a link or a website. This is going to be very easy and very interesting, and you can follow along with me with hands-on, and you will find all the notes in the description of this video. All the code that I will create will also be available to you, and whenever you have any questions, any doubts, you can let me know in the comment or the Q&A section. So let's get started, and let us first see how can we select from a drop down window. So here let us take some demo website. I'm going to this web application, try testing this.netlify.app, and here you can see this is a demo website where you can practice automation testing. There are so many options here. So here let us see a drop down. So you can see here is a drop down. So here we can select any option from this drop down. We can try to handle this. So I will go to my VS Code, and here is the script. Here is the test script we created in the last session. So you can see click action, type text, double click, right click, hover, drag and drop, scroll to element, alert, pop-up, screenshots. All this we did in the last session. So here we can continue here, or let me create a new test or a new file. I can also create a new fixture here. So let me just create a new fixture. I will copy this and paste it here, and also I will copy the test body. So you can see this is the new fixture we have created, and I want that when I run this particular test file, only this fixture should get executed. So I will say fixture dot only, and here I can name this as action demo tests 2 and TestCafe actions 2. So basically we have created a fixture and a test, and here we can now start writing our test steps. Okay, so here when we handle a drop down, first we can create a constant for that drop down with the property or the locator of that particular drop down. So if I see here, this is our drop down, and if I do a right click here and go to inspect, here you can see this is the property. So it has a ID. So we have ID, then name. So we can use this ID, which is option. So I will copy this and I will create a constant. You can name it anything. I will say const drop down, or you can say my drop down, whatever you want, equals selector, and then in the bracket I will give the locator. So we have ID, I will say hash and paste the ID. Now if you do not have ID, you have some other locator, you can use that. In the last session we have already seen how you can use different types of selectors. Okay, so here we have created this constant which finds this particular drop down. Okay, also you can see as I have used this selector here, if you go to the top you will see that TestCafe has imported this selector library from TestCafe. So in case you do not find this, you can manually add this, otherwise it will throw an error. So this is done. Now the next step is here you will see that in your drop down there will be multiple options, and you can see what is the name there, and then to get all the options you can say you can use whatever constant you have used here. You can use this and then use the find option, the find function. So I can say I have used this drop down, so I can say dropdown dot find, and then we will use the option here. So you can see, if you see the value, this is my drop down. If I expand this, we have these option 1, option 2, and these are all the options. So you can see these are all the option. So this is what I will get inside this constant. So I will say option, and this I can get into a constant. Now here again you can give any name to this constant. I will say const dropdown options. Okay, and I'm pressing Ctrl S to save my script. And then in the test we can now say t.click on the drop down, which will click on the drop down. So I can say await t dot click, and I will use whatever I have used here, the constant drop down, and then after this I will say t.click drop down options, and then you can use either the ID or the text value. So here t.click, and I will use this constant drop down options, and then I will say dot, you can see, with text, and then I will use whatever option I want to choose. So here if we see here we have option 1, option 2, option 3. So whatever you want you can select. I will say option 2 I want to select option 2, so I will say option 2. Okay, so this will select the particular value from the drop down. Now after this, if you also want to check that the value that you have selected is actually selected and you want to add an assertion, you can say t.expect and then say drop down value equals to whatever value you have. So I will say t.expect and again drop down, and I will say dot value, and then we have a lot of options for comparing. We have dot equals, and then other options are also there. I will tell you about those when we learn about assertions. So here I will say dot equal, so we have not equal, exact equal, etc., and then whatever you want to compare it with. So this is option 2. Okay, let me also give the name here, name of the topic. This is drop down. So let us try to run this and check. So I will go to my terminal. I am pressing the up arrow, so it will get me the last command that I executed, and here it is. This is the one we need, tests, actions, TestCafe Chrome, and this is the file that we want to execute. Let me confirm it is under the tests folder, and this is what we want to execute. So I will hit enter, and this should now run only this fixture because we have already used this fixture dot only here. So it is now starting. Opens the browser, connects to TestCafe, and yes, you can see it actually selected that option. We can actually add some wait time so that we can see that is selected. T dot wait for, let us say, 4 seconds, but it actually failed. Let me see. I will press this up arrow to expand the terminal, and here it says this assertion has failed. This says assertion expected option 2 to deeply equal option 2. Okay, so expected was this option 2, but actual was option 2. So this is a lowercase o, and for that let me verify here. And yes, actually the problem here is, if you see this value, generally this value and the value which is displayed are same, but here it is different. It is o with, it is a lowercase o in this option. So I will correct this in my script. I will say this is o option with lowercase o, and then I will save and run again. So let's see, this time I have also added some wait time. Yes, you can see here it has selected option 2 and now it is waiting, and now it is done and everything is passed now. Alright, so you can also try to select some drop downs. Now the next thing is we have to see how to upload a file. So I will say this is upload file, and if we see in our demo application, here we have, yes, here we have a option. You can see this is upload file option is here. So I can click this, and this option actually brings up the browser window to select the file. Now generally in some applications you will see the upload button and it will directly upload it. In some applications you will see a choose file button and then upload button separately. So whatever is the case, you can use the options in TestCafe. So here the first thing we do is we use the set files to upload function to select all the files that we have to upload. So we can select more than one files here, and then we finally upload these files. So here I will say first await t.setFilesToUpload, and here in this case first we will give the locator of the choose file button or whatever link it is. So you can see here is the choose file. If I do a right click and say inspect, so here is this ID, we have ID my file, I can use this. So here I will say I'll give the ID hash my file, and here after this I'll give a comma, and then within square brackets we can give multiple files separated by comma. So you can do like this, and you can keep on giving the location of multiple files like this. Okay, and here what I will do is I will go here to my folder, my project folder, and I will go to tests folder. Because I am in my tests folder, I am going to create a new folder here, or I can add a file directly, or I will first create a new folder and I will say uploads. You can see this has also come here, uploads has come here, and here I am going to create a new text file. I'll say abc, this is abc.txt. If you don't see the extensions, you can go to view and say file name extensions, check this, and you can see the extensions also now. So this is abc.txt, and in this file I can just add any dummy statements or text. Alright, so the reason I have added this uploads folder within the test folder is because now I can give a relative path, and if I take this folder anywhere, if I take my project folder anywhere on any other system, this path will not break because now this is within the project folder. So because this is in the same folder, in the same path where my test folder is, I can say // and give the folder name which is uploads, and then the file name which is abc.txt. Okay, so you can see this is what I have given like this, and in this case I have only one file, so I will just give like this. I will not use comma and more file paths. This is the only file I want to upload. Alright, now after this we have to click on the upload button if you have a separate upload button, but in my case I do not have that. You can see I just have the choose file. I don't have any other upload button here, so we can skip that. So I think this should work. Let me also add some wait time, and I will save and run the test. So it is now connecting to TestCafe, and yes, it has selected, and yes, it is passed. So you can see it is passed. Now it might not show up directly, but yes, it was able to set these files for upload. And then if you have a upload button, you can also say t.click and whatever is the locator of the upload button. Then we can resize the browser window. Whenever you want to resize your window, you can use this .resizeWindow function. So here I will say resize browser window, await t.resizeWindow, and here you can set the port size here. For example, I can say 800, 600, and then if you want to resize again, I can again say 1200 by 800. I will also add some wait time in between of this change so that you can check this. I will save and run the test. So it is now connecting to the application, and let us wait and check. Yes, it resized the window, and then after 2 seconds it again resized it to 1200 by 800. And if you want to maximize the window, that also we can do. So for example, I can say here await t.maximize window. So let us also check this. I will save and run the test again, and let's see. So here we are changing the window size, then maximizing the window, and then again changing it to 1200 by 800 viewport size. So yes, it changed first. Now it has maximized, and then again changed to 1200 to 800. So this is all the options to resize the browser window. So you can check all of these. Now after this, we can scroll the page and we can give the size here or the points here. So I can say t.scrollBy. So I will say here scroll page, await t.scrollBy, and here so you can say something like 0500. So you can also check when I say scroll by, you can see here we have the x and y axis, and then this is how we give the scroll left, scroll top, scroll down, all this is how we use it. So I will say here, so I will say 0 on the x-axis and 500 points on the y-axis. I can again do this. I can scroll multiple times, and I will add some wait time in between. So I will save and run the test. So I'm scrolling by 0, 500. 0 is on x-axis, 500 is on y-axis. So x will be horizontal and y will be vertical, and as of now in this application we have this vertical scroll. So you can see now it is scrolling down, and again it is scrolling down by 500 on the y-axis. So this is how you can scroll to the page, scroll on the page. Now then we have assertions. Now there are multiple assertions. You can use assertions for anything like checking if the element is visible or present, or checking the inner text equals to some particular value. For example, I can say, so here I will say assertions, I will say await t.expect. now here I will give some particular element. Let's say this is this element. I will do a right click and say inspect. So here you can see this is the element, and I will take the locator or the selector. We do not have any clear locator here like ID, name, class, etc. So I will do a right click and say copy, and I will say copy selector. All this we have seen in the earlier session as well. I will say here selector, and here I will paste the selector that I have copied, and then I will say dot innerText dot equal, I'll say dot innerText dot equal, and let us say I want to check it should be equal to something. So I am checking it should be the inner text of this element should be equals to home. Okay, so let us save and run and check if it passes. So there are a lot of assertions. In a moment I will show you, I will give you the link and you can see all the assertions. So let's see this time. So it is doing all the earlier actions now. It is now scrolling down, and now it checked for the assertion, and you can see everything is passed. That means our assertion passed, right? Let us see what happens if our assertion fails. So I will say something like ABCD here, which should fail. I will save and run the test again. So it started the test. Okay, so now it is checking for that inner text of that link, and it has failed. And if we check the failure, so here you can see this assertion has failed, and here the expected was ABCD but actual was home, so therefore it has failed. So this is how you will get in the logs. If it fails, I will change it back to home. Alright, and then here is a link that you can check where you can see all the different assertion methods. So if you go and just search for TestCafe assertions, you will see this basic guides on assertions. So here you can see all this assertion methods are here: strict equals, value comparison, superset, numeric range check, type check, regular expression check, assertion options are here. So you can check all this on this link and you can try out as well. Then if you want to navigate to any other page or link, you can use navigate to function. So here I can say I will say the topic here is navigate to. So I will say await t.navigate to, and I can give the link here. So let's say https, I'll say google.com, and after this I will also add some wait time. Alright, so we will save and run the test. Alright, so it has started our test. It is doing all the earlier actions. Scrolling down and checking assertions, and now it has gone to google.com and everything is passed. Okay, so these are the different actions. Now if you want to check more actions on TestCafe, you can always go and search for TestCafe actions and you will get this link, the test actions basic guide, custom actions. So you can see all these different actions. Here are the list of actions. You can see click, press key, type text, select text, hover, scroll. I have tried to cover most of the basic actions, but still if you want to see some more actions and if it is not covered in the session, you can always check this link and you can also see the examples along with all these actions. So we also can do API testing and we can use the request action here, cookie management, test interruption, pass data to the reporter, scroll elements, debug. All this you can check here. So if you face any issues, you can let me know, and I hope this session was very interesting. If you have questions, please let me know and I will see you in the next session. Thank you for watching and never stop learning.